I'm Jamie Erdahl. Here's Akbar Bajbi-Amila, Peter Strager, Kyle Brandt. We had a really cool thing we got to do a couple weeks back on the show, which was announce the players that are going to go participate in the Pro Bowl. We made a big to-do about it. Yeah. We got to announce it. Felt like a bit of an exclusive. And we thought, let's run it back again. We have another honor this morning, and that is the fact that the NFL and the Associated Press have just released their finalists for their annual accolades for the 2024 NFL regular season. All of those award winners, you're thinking AP, these are the award winners that are going to be announced on Thursday, February 6th at NFL Honors. So the following 8 categories, here we are. Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Assistant Coach of the Year, and of course the most debated, the most heated, MVP, most valuable player. So we're each going to have a category. We each have a turn. Again, Peter, you really wanted to make sure this clarification was made. These are the names that get to be at honors, and they'd find out that night whether or not they win the following awards.
These are our finalists. These are who are getting the invitations to NFL Honors, and one of them will be able to be on the stage accepting an award from Miles Teller and Alex Earl.
Oh, that's
Here we go.
Fun.
Number 1. We're going to start with the Defensive Player of the Year. Here are your nominees. Eagles linebacker Zach Bond.
Yes.
Zach Bond is a nominee for Defensive Player of the Year, along with Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Pat Surtain, and TJ Watt. Take a second. Those are your 5 finalists. All 5 of those men will be invited to NFL Honors. Only one of them will take home the hardware.
Well, that's a pretty good list right there. I think I
love that list.
It's a really good list. I mean, you look at these guys and what they produced this season, it's been absolutely outstanding.
Sure, but as a show, don't you feel personally invested in that guy on the left side of the screen?
Absolutely. Zach Bond. That's Peter's guy. Peter brought him up there. Peter, you should be a part of that award ceremony. All right, we got to go to the other side of the ball. The Offensive Player of the Year finalist nominees are, here we go, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Of course, we love that tandem. Derrick Henry, and the other tandem here we love, Lamar Jackson. This is an outstanding list right here. All of these guys have put up some tremendous numbers and have made an incredible impact on their team and in the league.
Let's go, though, to an all-time field. We had great rookies this year, particularly on offense. Here are the Offensive Rookie of the Year finalists. Bring them up. All right, Brock Bowers, prolific. Jaden Daniels, historic. Malik Neighbors put up huge numbers. It should be Malik numbers. Bo Nix was trying to steal the Offensive Rookie of the Year for Jaden Daniels for a while. It's not going to happen, but he was excellent, and he was in the playoffs in year 1. And then Brian Thomas Jr. just came tearing down the stretch, catching passes from Mac Jones and Jacksonville, massive numbers. Guys, that is a 5-some right there. Couple of people, notable people from that draft missing. But
where's Bucky Irving?
What about them?
Where's Bucky?
Bucky's hopefully in a
I'm outraged.
Very nice resort right now, or maybe in the Pro Bowl. Who knows how it ends up? Peter's outraged, but those are your 5 Offensive Rookie of the Year finalists.
Here are your 5 Defensive Rookie of the Year finalists. You think 2 of these teams on this board have a good future, a healthy future defensively? You're looking at 2 Eagles, 2 Rams, and a Dolphins player. Cooper DeJean, Braden Fisk, Quinyon Mitchell, Chop Robinson, and Jared Verse. Again, 2 guys from Philadelphia, 2 guys from LA. The fact that they played each other last weekend, awesome. AP Defensive Rookie of the Year finalists. Peter.
So good, and both of those Rams and Eagles picks were first and second round selections, so those GMs really nailed it. Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. Our 5 finalists are Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, J.K. Dobbins coming back from that Achilles injury, Christian Gonzalez, and DeMar Hamlin.
Interesting. So DeMar didn't win it last year. It was Flacco last year. Now DeMar's back nominated.
Complete season started.
Very important, very good player. This is an interesting one. There's 4 guys, and then there's one that's a little
Sam
bit.
Darnold was not injured.
No,
Sam Darnold
those are ones that are always a little weird for me.
Sam Darnold is not coming back from an injury, so the others are.
It could be considered an injury, the mental side of it.
Pride, a mental injury? No.
Production injury. How about that?
Guys,
I don't get that award. Okay, go on.
Let's do the right thing here,
Everybody
voters.
does.
I think you know.
Sam Darnold had a very good coach, and he was coached up very, very well. And that leads us to this next one, the Coach of the Year finalist. And here's the list right here. Here are the finalists. Dan Campbell, what a magical season for the Detroit Lions. Kevin O'Connell from San Diego State, the San Diego State University. I see you, Kevin O'Connell. Sean Payton coming back with the Broncos and what he's done with Bo Nix. And, of course, Dan Quinn getting ready to play in this championship Sunday game. Can't wait. And, of course, the man looking for the three-peat, Andy Reid, the great Andy Reid. There it is. There are the coaches.
But those men stand on shoulders, and those shoulders belong to assistant coaches. Here we go. Assistant Coach of the Year finalists. I'm going to read them, then Peter's going to tell you who you should vote for. Joe Brady is Josh Allen's best friend. Don't touch him. Don't hire him away. Eventually, someone probably will. Vic Fangio, he's back, guys, in Philadelphia this time. Incredible defense. Brian Flores, 14-3 the Vikings were. Blitz happy, intimidating defense. And then we gotta have the in memoriam section. I feel like Glenn and Johnson should be in black and white as it pertains to the Lions. That is the New York Jets head coach. That is the Chicago Bears head coach. They are both gone. Peter, what do you think?
And there's a lot of guys not on the list. We always do it. A lot of guys not on the list. I don't know. I think
Spags
had a pretty good year. I think Chris Shula in LA had a good year. But these are the guys. We'll talk about it. Cliff Kingsbury did pretty well with Jaden Daniels. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. This one's always interesting. As we know already, two of those guys are going to be HCs.
Peter, bursting at the seams, wants to celebrate the guys on the screen, but also knows who was left off the list. That's a perfect balance that you have to fight. Let's go to the finalists for the MVP. It's a heavily debated, much talked about. It's a confusing definition, but here we go. 4 quarterbacks and a running back across the board for your MVP finalists. Josh Allen playing this weekend. Saquon Barkley playing this weekend. Also up, of course, for Offensive Player of the Year. Joe Burrow, great, unbelievable, historic statistical year. Jared Goff finished last weekend, also awesome, and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has won a different award from a different publication already this January. Many people think that's like the SAG-AFTRA to the Oscars, that they think this is where this is going to go for Lamar Jackson. There are your lists, your 5 MVP finalists. All right, the names have been revealed. What do we make of this now that we know the direction that these are going in, gentlemen? What catches your eye? Peter, you get to go first.
I'd like to explain how the MVP is voted on, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding out there and who votes on it. This is not the Baseball Hall of Fame where there's 600 voters. There's only 50 voters, and it's compiled of former players and media members, and it's anonymous how they're submitting their votes. But the scoring is interesting. In 2022, they changed the scoring for the MVP. You used to just vote for one player. Now it's the total points. So you have to fill out a ballot, and your first place vote is 10 points. Your second place vote is 5 points, and so on. So it's not just one and done, like, oh, Josh Allen's my MVP, that's it. Which can lead to some potential differences from the AP first team All-Pro squad, which is just give us your name for All-Pro, where Lamar Jackson got 30 votes, and Lamar Jackson got 30, and Josh Allen got 18. If a lot of people voted Saquon second, that could change things. A lot of people vote Joe Burrow second. That can change things. The disparity is huge between first and third place. Josh Allen could very well still win MVP, folks. Josh Allen could have racked up the most second-place votes, but someone put Joe Burrow as their first place. So don't just assume this is Lamar's third MVP just yet. The voting is different than how you probably imagine it to be.
I just also want to say one other thing. I've heard people say this. We've probably said it. There's this consensus of, you know what, just give it to Josh and Lamar. Do co-MVPs as if someone just makes the decision of the right thing to do. You can't decide
Especially
to do
not
that.
with that
No, it's a
scoring
very
system.
elaborate scoring system. The only way it would be co-MVPs, tell me if I'm wrong, is if it was literal and exact tie of votes.
Exact tie of votes.
Which is not going to happen.
Exact points, and that will never happen because of the odd numbers from 10 to 5 to 3.
There have been co-MVPs before. I don't think we will ever see it again.
So
there's not going to be a split.
I've seen that push as well. People being like, I think it might be the year we get co-MVP.
It's impossible.
It's not given out by Goodell, guys. It's not how it's done. There's a very intricate scoring process, and you have to have the total tabulation. But Josh is still very much alive based on the fact that it's a scoring system and not just one or the other.
Well, this is really cool because, it was always an enigma. I'm sure a lot of people, how does that work? But it's cool that you actually kind of point and broke that down. and this new system should allow us to kind of really see. It was cool to also see Saquon Barkley's name up there as part of the finalists. I'm glad that he wasn't excluded, and he was included in that process. So we'll see how the voting goes down for sure. But I will say, too, that the other thing that kind of caught my eye, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, those names for the Rams to try to replace Aaron Donald and for them to come out there and what they've done as rookies. I mean, I appreciate this as a lineman to see what they've done. You just don't see anything like this, to have young guys coming in who played together, had chemistry, and coming in and still keeping up that same type of domination. Shout out and kudos to those guys. I hope there's a co-vote for those guys.
Yeah, shout out to Florida State as well. The fact that those two come in together, they know each other so well, and clearly this thing worked.